Hello there, I'm Amy from moonmindology.com, and today I want to look at the transits for July 2024. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. But don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment for me if you like what I do. So the 3rd of July, Mercury is in Cancer and it is opposed Pluto at 7 degrees of Capricorn. Now, Pluto is in control and Mercury is the mind. And this is a time where there can be mind control, especially through the media. And this is the kind of aspect that appeals to your logic and intelligence. And as Pluto is in the sign of government, then it can come from that area. Mercury is in Cancer, and this is the sign of home and family. So there can be a sense of shyness or insecurity with this sign. Do be careful of news and messages that can make you feel insecure or uncomfortable, especially from the state, and there can also be impacts to education as well. 5th of July, Saturn in Aquarius, and it aspects Mars at 25 degrees of Aries. So these two planets, they're really at odds with each other, and they're very contradictory energies to one another. So this brings a lot of resistance and there can be friction. Mars in Aries is very strong and it wants to charge forward, and Aries will carry him on a chariot. Mars is currently in Barony, which is about a painful birth and starting anew. So Saturn is also very happy in Aquarius, so they both know what they want, which is really going to bump heads as well. And this says to me that there's an air of not knowing whether to just send aid and resources or jump in head first and police the situation. Mars is afflicted here as well. So Saturn can put brakes on, but Mars can also feel way more frustrated. So there can be flare-ups of anger. Saturn's in Purva Bhadrapada, which is the nakshatra that's fascinated with crime and even immoral things. And I think there is something happening potentially with, I'd say, military movement, but it's still in the watching phase with this, I would say. As Mars is going to have an aspect from Saturn the whole time he's in Aries, I do think that there could be a lot of quibbling, but Saturn may prevent Mars from taking full action. It doesn't bode well that this is also happening around a UK general election as well, so there can be a lot of frustration and butting of heads, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see delayed results, as well as a lack of there being an outright winner in UK politics. 9th of July, Pisces trines Mercury at 16 degrees of Cancer, so there could be some kind of global movement, as in immigration, as there's a lot to do with travel here, and there could be messages in the media about record numbers somewhere, or there could be some kind of mass communication of a serious and important message. Both signs are very emotional, and we can expect people to have a lot of feelings around this time. Brevity is also about travel, so there can be something going on with travel here because there's a couple of pointers to it. And the watery signs, there could be something to do with oceans, rivers, sailing, or just water in general. Mercury is in Ashlesha, it's the coiled snake. And you know, I'm also thinking medicine here as well, but this portion of the sky is very charming, seductive and sneaky, so Rahu can make this bigger, and there could be messages with an ulterior motive here as well. 12th of July, Ketu is in Pisces and it aspects Jupiter at 16 degrees of Taurus, so this could be quite a spiritual combination. Jupiter's currently in Rohini, which is very beautiful and voluptuous, but there can be associations with curses and trouble, as Rohini was Soma's favourite wife, and as a result of his favouritism towards her, he was cursed and he died every night, that he was essentially poisoned. So there can be trouble for those who lust after someone, something, or some kind of situation. Bearing that in mind, Jupiter can really expand on the idea of something that is desired and wanted, because this is Taurus, and it can be business, economy, stability, and even food and crop. So Ketu can create some problems in that area as well. can be poor yield, or maybe because we have Hasta, no hands to perform the work, which potentially can create problems with food supply in some cases. 12th of July, Venus is in Cancer and it is opposed Pluto at 6 degrees of Capricorn. And this happens every year, but not always in the same nakshatra, and overall this combination can be quite controlling, dark, and there is a link to betrayal as well. There can be problems with not feeling supported, cared for, or nourished by the governments. Surprise, surprise. But there's a lot of symbology about affairs and betrayal as well in this combination. You've got Uttara Ashada, the nakshatra that Pluto is in, and it's very political, it's very powerful. So there can be some kind of betrayal from the government. There can be a problem with being pulled into a situation for a sense of something that it's the right thing to do, but not necessarily the best thing to do. 15th of July, Mars is conjunct Uranus at 2 degrees of Taurus, and I don't particularly like these two planets together as they're very explosive, can indicate unexpected fires, attacks, mechanical problems, and as they are in Taurus, we can see that both planets are in Kritika, which is associated with Agni, the god of fire. So there can be cases of false accusations or false flags, or there's potential problems with rising tensions as well. And we have to bear in mind that Jupiter's also here, so there can be an expansion, and K2 is gazing across over to Jupiter, so there's a lot of energy in this house, and it could just boil over, and there could be tensions. And you know, in the new UK news, they've been telling people to stock up on resources and make sure you have enough food to last a few days. And you know, I think actually looking at this, that really could be good advice. So I would say make sure you have food for at least a few days. I think it could be a good precaution. Obviously don't go overboard like people did during COVID. That's ridiculous. Stock up on tins maybe, you know, and then you've just got that, you know, backup stuff. And make sure you've got enough pet food. Always think of the pet food. That's my main concern. So, shortage? What about feeding my pets? Anyways, yeah, so there could be a failure of technology that results in, you know, difficulty in food distribution. There's been multiple times recently where I live, most of the supermarkets have closed down during one day due to technical issues. And, you know, I'd say actually they've been quite successful trials. You know, I think everybody should just have enough in reserve. You know, it might not happen, so don't go out and buy a huge amount of stuff that's not going to last. Anyways, moving on from that aspect. 19th of July, Rahu in Pisces aspecting Venus at 16 degrees of Cancer. This is great for expression, but also obsessiveness. It can expand Venus, and that's all about beauty and indulgence as well. And of course, Venus is hormones, and adrenaline, of course, is a hormone, so there can be a feeling of stress too. So bear that in mind, especially with the expanding nature of Rahu. But Venus is still in Ashlesha, so there can be some kind of constriction or control, and Rahu is still in Revati with this, and it could be something to do with animals as well. Because of Revati, it has a lot to do with looking after animals as well as travel and creatures in general. So moving on to the 23rd of July, the Sun will be in Cancer and it will be opposed Pluto at 6 degrees of Capricorn. And the Sun will be in Pusha, and this is a really nurturing part of the zodiac. It's family oriented, and with Pluto there could be leaders perhaps encouraging people to spend time with their family. I'm not sure I can really see that happening in the grand scheme of things when the general idea seems to be to divide and conquer, but hey, you never know, miracles do happen every day, and it would be certainly very nice to have this towards the end of the month if it was true and we did see a leader encouraging unity as well as seeing people stand together. You know, I will take that. That would be nice. That's a lovely thing to end the month on, isn't it? But I do think August is going to be quite interesting. We've got a lot of transits going on then. September is also going to be quite lively, but we'll see what it's like when we get there. I think we've got a few bumps and lumps this month. But hopefully, the only thing that's really concerning me is the Uranus-Mars combination. But other than that, I don't see too much of a big problem, but I am worried about that to some degree. But hopefully it will get better as we go on. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.